Hi there. This is a video about how to relate better to loneliness. I was asked the question, how to overcome loneliness. Instead of overcoming it, I prefer the term relating better to it, embracing it, and by embracing it, feeling better. Let me explain further. On the screen before you, you can see what I call the cycle of suffering. Right here, if you can see the arrow, is where you're at. The negative, painful, hurtful feeling of loneliness. Now, let me ask you this question. When you're feeling lonely, do you feel wrong for feeling lonely? This is a very important question to ask because it may be that you're feeling wrong for it. It may be that you're resisting the feeling of loneliness. In fact, just the very desire to overcome this loneliness may be what is causing you to feel even more lonely. There is a saying that suffering is optional, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So I'm going to tell you this right now. You're not wrong for feeling lonely. You're not wrong at all. Let me put up another screen for you to show you. See this? The resistance to feeling bad creates another layer of suffering. You're never wrong for feeling what you feel. When you resist it, you make it worse. Let me give you an analogy. When you fall off a bike and hurt your knee, are you wrong? Is your knee wrong for feeling hurt, for feeling pain? No, of course not. It's just your body's call for healing, and you understand that with the physical pain, and you in fact appreciate your body for telling you that you need healing, and you would put a band-aid on it, or you would go to the hospital. But it's the same thing with our emotional pain. When my heart is in pain, when my heart is hurt, is my heart wrong for feeling hurt, for feeling pain or lonely? No, of course not. It's just my heart, my emotional body's feedback telling me that I need healing. Now, what kind of healing, you ask? Before I answer that question, let me show you another aspect of the cycle of suffering. Because we feel wrong for feeling negative emotions such as loneliness, we tend to numb it with drugs, alcohol, ice cream, affirmations, or getting into relationships that we're not ready for, or trying to manifest our desires for things that we don't need. And so we get stuck in the cycle because we never solve the root cause, which is your limiting beliefs and negative programming from childhood. But I'll get back to that. Now, since this is your body's call for healing, one great way to relate to loneliness is to ask that part of your body that is feeling lonely what message it has for you. And then go even further. What are the meanings that I'm giving the events of my life? And then go even further. What are the limiting beliefs and childhood wounds you want me to be aware of? Now, so the next step is to ask yourself, what meanings am I giving the present moment? Because this is what happens. We have these limiting beliefs from childhood. They cause us to give negative meanings to neutral events that have no meaning. We have painful thoughts, and then we have the painful feeling, and then we numb it, and then the limiting belief remains, which cause more negative meanings in the future, so perpetuating the cycle. Now, the beauty of the cycle is that it can be broken anyway. So one way to break it is to, of course, feel your feelings. A great way is to just breathe breathe into that feeling of loneliness. Another way is to really be aware of the meaning you're giving negative events. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. For example, I used to get really mad if I send a text to somebody and I don't get a response back on the same day. I would give it so many negative meanings, such as how dare this person not respond to me, or maybe this person is angry at me, or this person is a jerk. When in reality, I could have given it other meanings, such as maybe their phone died, or maybe they were in a meeting, or maybe they never got the text because there was no signal where they were at. Now, the irony here is that the only way that we can give an event multiple meanings is because it has no meaning. Because if it had a meaning, we couldn't give it any other meaning. So in this case, what happened was a pure event. I sent a text to somebody, I don't get a response back. Nothing else happened. All those meanings that I gave never actually happened. Another great example is if somebody cuts us off on the road and we immediately get mad. And we get so mad so quickly that we don't have time to break down what happened. But if you break it down, this is what happened. You gave that event the negative meaning. What an asshole this driver is. But what if you gave it a different meaning? What if you gave it a meaning such as maybe that driver that we thought was an asshole was actually a young single mother whose baby was choking in the back? Totally flips it, right? From anger to compassion. But now we can go even further. Why did I give that event a negative meaning in the first place? One way to find that out is to keep asking yourself, why does this bother me? Just keep asking yourself that question. Why does this bother me? At first, we might get shallow answers such as, oh, he did not respect me, right? But if we keep digging, we'll get to an answer such as, oh, now I'm feeling like I'm not worthy of respect. Aha, now we got an answer. We gave that event a negative meaning because we already believed that about ourselves, that we're not worthy of respect. Now we have a chance to permanently remove what caused us suffering by removing the limiting belief, by going back to our childhood. We can hire a coach to do that. That's the best way, especially in the beginning when you're very new to this. But the temporary solution, there are several temporary solutions. One is to see that the event has no meaning or to change the meaning. Another is to just observe your thoughts without getting attached to the thoughts. Just because you have a thought in your head doesn't mean that you have to do something about it. It's just a thought. And another way to break it is to feel your feelings, to breathe, to sing songs that elicit that emotion. So if you're feeling sad, sing some sad songs. Or if you're feeling lonely, sing some lonely songs. And then move up the emotional ladder. The next song that you should sing after singing the sad or lonely song should be a hopeful song. And the next song should be a more higher vibration song until eventually we can get to, let's say, an angry song. And then after anger, a frustration song, and up and up and up. Okay. In fact, I will put in the link a radio interview that I did with a woman who is a vocal coach and singer. And in that interview, she demonstrated how to use singing to move up the emotional ladder. And of course, the last way, another way to break the cycle of suffering, to break the cycle of loneliness, is to not give in to the temptation to eat ice cream or smoke or drink alcohol to numb the feeling. Don't numb the feeling. Just fully feel it. And so those are the ways to overcome loneliness. I've given you so many different methods. I hope it has been really beneficial for you. It is my goal that you get from this place of loneliness into a beautiful place of peace. Let me show you an example of what I mean by that. See this beautiful picture? That's where I want you to be. That's where you will eventually get to when you actually accept the loneliness and ask your body for feedback. What message do you have for me? I totally honor you where you're at. I totally accept you where you're at. And at the same time, I see where you could be. I see both places and I honor both. I love you and I wish you sweet, sweet peace. Have an amazing, beautiful day.